Hola clase, hoy es miércoles, el 13 de mayo 2020. It is Wednesday, May 13th. We are halfway through this last round of remote learning. So keep working hard. You're doing a fantastic job. Today, we are going to do some review of IR verbs and their conjugations in the present tense. But before we do that, I wanted to touch on a couple things. First of all, remember you have any remote learning that you have that you may not have completed. You have until Friday, May 22nd at 11:59 to still submit that for credit. So make sure that you are checking PowerSchool. If you see missing assignments and you are confused about that, make sure you send me an email or a message through Canvas. The other thing I want to tell you is exciting. Later today, I'm going to put on the Canvas calendar, a Zoom meeting. One will be at 1 o'clock, and that is for first period year-long Spanish. And the second one will be a Zoom meeting beginning at 2 o'clock on Friday, and that's for third period Spanish. And we are going to try to play Quizlet Live online. So you can't play as a team, but they have a way that you can play individually. So if you would like to join that, that will cover the 3 different vocabulary sets that are going to be parts of your test that you will take next week. So if you would like to be a part of that, make sure that you make plans to join us Friday at 1 o'clock for first period and at 3 o'clock for third period. So I'm excited about that. So before we get into conjugating IR verbs, we did great with the IR verbs. There were a few mistakes, but today with the ER verbs, there seemed to be more, and it wasn't with the endings. What I was seeing for mistakes today were more in making sure you were matching the conjugation, the correct conjugation to the subject. So we're going to go ahead and go into the calendar, and I'm going to go into the assignment that was over the ER verbs. And I'm actually just going to leave student view so I can just go in and look at the questions. So in this section in the matching, some of you I think didn't follow the directions or read them closely enough. You're to match the incomplete sentence to the subject that completes the sentence. So here is where the subject would go, creo tu historia. And so when you look, you have a random set of choices, okay? One that was missed quite often was this one. Blank lee el libro siete tiempos. So we have yo, nosotros, tú, Señor Gas y Señor Bordeaux, or Señora Hoffman. So our conjugation, our verb that is conjugated is lay. That comes from the verb leer. So I kind of have to work backward here. So it was leer, and then I changed it to lay, and then I have to figure out which of those subjects match up. So it takes a couple extra steps, but that should be something that you are able to do without a problem at this point. So if you have questions about ones you missed here, make sure you send me an email or a message through Canvas so we can discuss those. The other thing I saw, most people got this one right with nosotros. This one was missed quite a bit. El ciego. Remember, ciego means blind man. El ciego, blank, and we want the verb vender, boletos de lotería. So we need to conjugate vender to match el ciego. Well, el ciego matches up with which subject pronoun? It's not yo, it's not tú. It would be with el, or so the grouping for el, ella, usted. So then we would conjugate vender to match that. This one was missed quite often also. Pedro y Mateo blank proponer un plan. So we've got Pedro y Mateo. So we have to again decide which subject pronoun would Pedro y Mateo match up with. It's not yo, it's not tú, it's not él, ella, or usted. It's not nosotros because I am not part of this subject. So it must be ellos, ellas, ustedes, which it's ellos. So make sure that you are taking the time to think through what is my subject, what subject pronoun does that match up to? Now, like here, this wasn't one that was a problem at all, but yo is the subject pronoun. So I'm noticing ones where you have to go from the subject to match to the subject pronoun. That seems to be where we might be having some struggles. So if we have struggles with that, again, with the IR verbs, then we may have to have a mini lesson over subject pronouns, and that's okay. we can review those things. But remember, if you have a question, make sure you let me know. All right, so that was just real quick. I wanted to touch on those things. So let's go back into student view so we can see what you have for today. So we'll head to the calendar. We'll be on May 13th. Tracy. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Oh, I forgot to publish it. Wow, I'm off to a running start here. Here we go. All right, so let's go back again. You just wanted to hear my voice more. That's what it was. See? Es verdad, estudiantes. Now let's try. All right, here we go. All right, so first period, make sure you check in for attendance. Most of you are doing a good job with that. Remember, you have until the 22nd at 11:59 to get any and all remote learning submitted for some credit. So make sure you're doing that. All right, so here is our focus for the day. We're going to focus on IR present tense verbs. There's review. You will listen to the ER/IR song again and just go back over how to conjugate those IR verbs. Make sure you're watching the lesson video, especially if you haven't been doing so great on the AR or the ER, because this AR, ER, and IR verb conjugations in present tense are on your test next week. All right, so the IR verb check-in. That's going to look similar to the other ones you've had. So I'm going to leave student view so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so today you're going to fill in the missing subject based on the conjugation of the verb. So you're going to have to think about, okay, here's my conjugated verb, what would go here? And then just type those in the text box. And there could be more than one correct answer. So, you know, you don't have to list every possible answer, just list one. Okay, so there are 5 of those. Oh, no, 5 of those, and then a question where you match the subject with the correctly conjugated IR present tense verb. So again, you've got your subject of yo, so you're going to decide which one of these would match up with yo. Okay, make sure you go back to the lesson or have that available to look at as far as notes would go, or if you still know where your Spanish notes are, you can use those notes when you are working through these conjugations. If you need anything, send me a message or an email. Adios, mis estudiantes.